Now it begins.
If Dougan wants me to pose nude, he's gonna have to pay me double.
Hello kids and kittens, it's ONLYUSEmeBEARD here, and today I'm back in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Today we're looking at the Reflex sight attachment optic for the light machine guns, the submachine guns, and the assault rifles. You could almost say I'm doing an in-depth look at this attachment, but I suspect Drifter might take offence. I stand corrected. Anywho, as we all know, with the Just Pick 10 allocation system in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, you can quite quickly go for your 10 point slots without realising it. So thus knowing when you need to put some kind of reflex optic sight on a weapon, and when you don't, does mean you can actually use it for something else, namely one of the perk allocations, to other attachments onto your weapon, or perhaps make use of perk wildcards, or even take a second tactical item. With regards to testing, I took this over into Nuketown 2025 and used the nuclear warning logo on the bunkers at the behind the greenhouse. You'll notice on screen at the moment I've got the MK48 with its standard default iron sights. In this instance, the MK48 has one of the largest of the iron sight configurations, and the back part of the light machine gun actually feels like the bottom third of the screen. When I attach the reflex sight, you'll notice that the gun itself seems to be lowered in appearance, and thus obviously lowering the bulky mass that is the rear of the gun. Further, the large cumbersome area that was the iron sights has now been freed up by this singular piece of plastic with a single red dot in the centre. In fact, this phenomenon occurs for every single gun I'll be looking at today. As well as lowering the gun model on screen, it's been found on numerous occasions that the presence of a reflex sight also affects the recoil. Some positively, some negatively, and on other occasions it makes no difference whatsoever. So if we take a look at the assault rifles, you'll notice that the majority of these have quite reasonable iron sights. The most notable exceptions to that rule would be the SMR and the FAL OSW having quite bulky iron sights and a very bulky rear end, with the AN94 having just a very bulky rear end and quite nice iron sights in my opinion. However, despite these good iron sights, the M27, the SCAR-H, the MTAR, and especially the SWAT 556 all showed a reduction in the recoil experienced by the shooter whilst using the reflex sight. Conversely, the QBB-LSW, the M8A1, the AN94, and the SMR showed an increase in the recoil rate with the reflex sight. Similarly, if we look at the submachine gun group, we see the majority of these have quite reasonable iron sights, with the exception of the MP7 having a very bulky rear end to the gun model. Despite the lovely iron sights on these weapons, when you attach the reflex sight to the Scorpion Evo, the amount of recoil experience dramatically drops. Likewise, the Chicom CQB gets a much tighter grouping along the horizontal range. Surprisingly, the Vector K10 and the MSMC showed no difference between their iron sights and the reflex sights attachments for recoil variance. Conversely, the MP7, when you attached the recoil sight, the amount of spray increased dramatically along the vertical meridian, and the PDW, well, aside from having just terrible recoil to start off with, the recoil spray starts sooner with a reflex sight, so don't use that unless you just want to spray into nothing. Finally, if we were to return to the MK48 and the rest of the light machine guns, you'd see that the MK48 has a very poor iron sight configuration, namely the bottom third of the screen is filled up with a weapon model. However, stick on a reflex sight, A, the gun model itself lowers itself down, and B, the amount of recoil experience with a reflex sight is dramatically less. If we look at the hammer, whilst it has some fantastic iron sights, I cannot deny that the amount of recoil experienced by this with a reflex sight is less. Likewise, the QBB-LSW have some excellent iron sights, but when you attach the reflex sight, the recoil variance is non-existent. Conversely, when you look at the LSAT, while these have reasonable-ish iron sights, the gun model is incredibly bulky, almost obscuring the bottom quarter of the screen. But when you add on the reflex sight, the amount of random movement in the recoil pattern actually increases, suggesting that it's not a gun to use with a reflex sight. Thus, if I was to summarise this 4-minute video, kids and kittens, the SWAT 556, the M27, the SCAR-H, the MTAR, the Scorpion Evo, the Chicom CQB, and the MK48 all benefit from having the reflex sight attachment. As always, kids and kittens, if you found this video useful of any sorts, I'm going to ask you to leave a like. If you found it very useful, to click the favourite button. Further, if you want to comment in the comment section below what you'd like me to look at next. Would you like me to look at another attachment? Would you like me to look at another weapon? comment in the comment section below. Also, I've got 3 videos up on the screen at the moment. The first one is a dissection of the cover art for Call of Duty Ghosts. The second one is a review of the new Call of Duty graphics engine that's going to be coming out later this year. And the third one is my most slated video that's been posted up on the Machinima network. So I'd much appreciate a little bit of love being posted up on that to bring the thumbs up on it. Anywho, I'm ONLYUSemeBEARD. Peace! Hello, you lovely kids and kittens out there in the Directors of Gaming Network. Dougan here. Just a quick little bit of FaceTime video just to say, hey, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I will say that ONLYUSemeBEARD is a character I play from time to time as a really over-the-top, zealous YouTube commentator that takes the job a little bit too seriously. I'm not like that in real life. If you like my shit, that's awesome. If you don't like it, tell me why. Anywho, I would like to acknowledge Joe Drifter for letting me do a spoof mock-up of his in-depth series franchise thus far. With this whole Reflex site thing. As far as I know, he hasn't done Reflex sites. That's why I thought I'd use this one. It did originally start off life as a rip into Raw Instinct and his Red Dot versus Iron Sights video. But when I researched it, I couldn't find the video he ripped off, so I upped my productivity and quality content. That's what you got so far. I'm going to disappear off for a couple of days. If you're on Twitter, feel free to follow me. It is Call Me Dougan. You can also follow me on Facebook as well, but I'm less active on Facebook. And if people are on the PC, I'm happy to meet up with you kids and kittens for a bit of Steam activities. But suffice to say, I will be off until the 21st, and then I'll be back on my own channel looking at the new Call of Duty Ghosts trailer, and there'll be a dissection and review of all that, because I enjoy playing ONLYUSemeBEARD. Anyway, I'm Dougan, ciao for now, or peace!